Allegiance. All right, looks like appointment of chair and vice chair.
Yep, so every year our bylaws state that in April, we select our chair and vice chair for the following year. Our current chair is Nicole, and our vice chair is Melissa. So we're asking the commission to consider appointment of chair and vice chair for the following year. Is any recommendations?
I recommend we keep it.
I agree.
I second that.
Nobody wants to try it out?
I've been it.
Come on, Brad.
I'll second Brad's motion then.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are not.
Okay. Anyone want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Okay. Anyone want a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public comment. This is the opportunity to comment on anything that is not listed on the agenda. No? Okay. Announcements? All right. Approval of the minutes. Consider approval of March 25, 2025 meeting minutes. I didn't see anything. I thought it looked
I
good.
felt good about them. I'm good with them. I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Public hearings, looks like there's no public hearings. All right, general business. A, Christmas Pines, direction regarding housing style modification.
Yes. Some members of the Planning Commission may recall, some of you were here back in, sorry, I'll put my microphone on. Back in 2017, the city worked with Gary Tupy to gain approval of this residential development called Christmas Pines. The development contained 5 gross acres and was platted into 20 detached townhome lots. The lots are part of a association, and the development is subject to the requirements of the R3. It's a medium-density residential zoning district requirements, except there were some deviations that were allowed during the original approvals. As shown on the slide here, some of the, the three biggest things I'll say is there's a pretty significant reduction in our lot size requirements. The R3 standards today are 7,200 square feet minimum lot size, and these lots range from 3,100 to about 3,900 square feet. Minimum lot width is 60 feet, and the lots here are 40 feet. And then probably the other biggest requirement was that city code requires a space for 3 garage stalls on a single-family home, and 2 garage stalls were allowed in this development. In 2017, the home designs or the home plans that were presented were a pretty small slab-on-grade home that was about 1,250 square feet and 2 bedrooms. And on the slide here just shows kind of the renderings that were presented to the city at the time. In 2022, world had changed quite a bit. The developer came back and approached the city regarding the housing styles. They wanted to change the housing styles that had been approved within the development, or that had been represented at the time. And in the original approvals, it said there was a statement that the housing styles had to have a consistent, uniform theme throughout the development, and it's in fact still says that today. So the developer approached the city. Again, some of you may remember Gary Tupy was at the Planning Commission meeting at the time. Staff referred the request to the Planning Commission and City Council because of the proposed increase in the home sizes in relation to the lot size within the development. Again, the original home being about 1,250 square feet, and then 3 additional home plans were submitted, 2 split entries and 1 2-story home. And during the 2022 review of the plans, the developer indicated that within individual blocks within the development, they would do a consistent housing style. And this would just meet the intent of the original approvals, which required the homes to be designed in a similar fashion. So even though there were 3 separate styles within the development itself, they'd be consistent on different blocks. So again, this planning commission reviewed this and kind of concurred with the new approach or the new home designs within the development, as did the city council. So since that time, especially more recently, the city has issued, there's one 2-story home within the development, and then a number of split entry homes have recently been built, which is, great to see. We'd like to see that development filling up. These are the revised home designs that were presented in 2022. You see the 2 on the outside are split entries, and they're really similar looking from the front. So staff has just kind of called those interchangeable, the cypress and the spruce. And then that 2-story model that was has been constructed on the north side of the development, that's kind of what's in question at this point. So as of 2025, there are currently several split entry homes that have been constructed in blocks 2, 3, and 4 of the plat. Those would be on the east side and the west side of the plat. And there's one 2-story home that's been constructed on block 1 of the plat, which is the northerly row that butts up to County Road 2. Staff understood that the Planning Commission City Council approval of these plans to be based on the fact that they would be consistent on each block. So for example, all the lots in block 1 would have the 2-story home. The city recently received a building permit for a split entry home on that northerly block, block 1, where a 2-story home had been constructed. So we didn't issue the building permit because didn't feel it was consistent. So Ashley, with the development company and the builder, developer is here, has submitted a written request and is asking the city to again review and consider a modification to the home styles to specifically allow the inclusion of the split entry home in that northerly block, if I understand it correctly, and Ashley can speak and answer any questions that I am not answering here. So I guess I think staff's opinion is that it would look better visually if it was all 2 stories on that northerly block, but want to absolutely give Ashley the chance to address the Planning Commission here. And unless there's something else, I can bring up those drawings that you had emailed me. Otherwise,
Sure.
if you
Yeah.
think this represents it well enough.
We could actually stay on that plat. I think that would maybe be helpful too, to kind of get a lay of the land there, Renee.
Okay.
And then we can kind of go to what I had sent earlier as well. But my name is Ashley Tupi Rickert. So Gary Tupi is my dad, and I'm, as all of you, I'm sure, I'm very familiar with this development. And I just want to say thank you so much, Renee. That was a very thorough explanation of exactly what happened from concept to today. And I would say, one thing that just very much changed, as you mentioned before, is that COVID was the bomb that kind of hit us right as we were entering into that development. And so we kind of sat stagnant for a year or 2, and then definitely was seeing a shift in the market from that slab on grade, and we were really seeing that it was calling for more of a split level home. And so we came to you guys petitioning this, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing that, because as you've seen, we haven't sold any 2 stories to this date, and then we've sold 6 of them since December in that Cypress split plan. So it's definitely hitting the market and filling a need for the people in Elko New Market. And I wanted to just come to you today and share the success that we've been having and how well accepted that floor plan is, and then just petition that we would consider and really come up with a common sense approach to what should we do in this situation. So history has told us that in whatever it has been 7 or 8 years, we're not selling that product. And so which is why I kind of sent you the back of both of those, Renee, they have a very similar look, and they would maintain, the LP siding, the Pella windows. It would have very much a similar look from the back, but would allow us to fill in that block. Where if we, didn't have that opportunity, I don't know how long that block would sit, which would be the unfortunate part for everybody. I live in this town and love this town as much as anybody, and I just, having that finished and polished in the roundabout would, I think, just be beneficial for the city as a whole, while maintaining, we're not short selling anything, we're not compromising the development in any way. It's still gonna have a very nice aesthetic, while looking very similar in the back with a product that meets the market. So if we look at the two that, or I'm sure you're pulling it up, Renee, but if we're looking at the back side by side, you guys will be able to see there's 4 windows and 1 door. And they're pretty reflective of each other.
I'm sorry, so.
That's okay.
Give me just a minute here.
I brought a paper copy too as I know it's a little bit of a distance here, but you can kind of see there. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think if we can just do that to compare what the back of the houses would look like, because the back is really what is going to be facing County Road 2 here. And I think the notable difference in the 2-story is that what you're going to see at the back of the home is a patio. And with the split levels, what you're going to see at the back of the home is a deck, most likely. So they will look different from that perspective. I think that, the thing that maybe staff isn't able to, or wasn't able to comment on is, it appeared to us that you built the split level in a model home at some point, so.
On that different block or something, or?
block,
Sure,
yeah.
yep. Mm-hmm.
And that I guess we haven't seen, at least on the MLS, that you've marketed the 2-story home.
Yeah.
Or built the 2-story home as a model to see how that would be
Yeah, and
received in the market.
That's a great point, Renee. So we've been beta testing, because I live in the 2-story home. It's me. So I moved into it when it wasn't selling, and I've been there ever since. So I was beta testing it in the market as we were comparing the Cypress to say, this is another floor plan. People just were not biting on it. I don't know if they couldn't wrap their head around Minnesota. They have basements in Minnesota, or I'm not sure, but it was continuously over and over again, the Cypress is the plan that they preferred. And I actually have 2 purchase agreements ready to go pending, how everyone feels about this. I have 2 more Cypresses that are ready to go right next to that 2-story, and they're so excited to go. And I just said, well, sit tight and I'll kind of see what they have to say about it. But I would anticipate that we would see much success on that block as well if we were given the opportunity to put that floor plan in.
I don't have anything further.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great questions.
I was here for part of that, or the last, or the many renditions of this, and I don't recall specifying that it had to be one or the other per block. I don't recall that portion, but
There was a discussion at the planning commission meeting regarding that, or that's what was presented by the developer in his verbal presentation.
every development out there has a mixture of Rambler,
Correct.
split, 2-story, so I don't see an issue myself with the concept, because 4 feet elevation difference is all you're gonna see, so
Okay?
I'm fine. So.
I agree, Brad. It's been sitting there for 4 years. Let's get it developed.
Have your mic on? Okay.
Yeah, I agree as well. I'm really excited to see different options, right? Frankly, I think having the exact same style on a whole block is boring, and I don't think it's aesthetically pleasing. So I appreciate the variety, and I think allowing the variety would for sure be easier to market and sell. And I would love to see that corner develop before we move to the north, because I see that's going to be ready soon.
Other thoughts? Joe?
Yeah, I don't see an issue with it, like you guys are saying. It gives people a variety of options, so might as well. It doesn't really look much different from the back.
Yeah, I think I like that it's similar to the back. So it's not gonna be a huge difference that you'll see, which is nice versus the patio and the deck.
Sure.
But that'll, I guess, provide some differences, which is okay, I think. I think diversification is okay.
Okay, I think that is what, we have what we need. We don't necessarily need it in the form of a motion, but I think that we can forward to the city council that there was a consensus on the planning commission, a full consensus that a variety of the three floor plans would be acceptable on that block. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, review 421 and 431 Main Street property acquisition for consistency with comprehensive plan.
Okay. Sorry. Seem to be a little challenge today.
We still have that, right? Handout.
Okay, some of you may have, we've probably been through this a couple of times with some of you on the commission, but the city is in the process of negotiating acquisition of these two properties. And state law requires that you, as the planning agency for the city, review the proposed acquisition of the properties by the city. So 421, 431 Main Street are two single-family homes. They're currently rental properties. And the owner has given the city an opportunity to purchase the properties, and the city council has directed staff to negotiate a purchase agreement. The properties are zoned commercial. This is the statute reference that requires you to review the acquisition and report in writing your findings related to the consistency of the proposed use with the city's comprehensive plan. This is 421 Main Street. This is directly adjacent to or across the street from the gas station, little detached garage in the back. So this is taken from the side street, not Main Street. And this is 431 Main Street. And it abuts, it kind of shares a side parking area with the old Hotel Market building. And city staff has inspected the properties, and they appear to be in good shape at this point in time and not in need of much maintenance. Just for your information, the city has adopted a policy regarding the acquisition of properties that applies to the properties in downtown Elko and downtown Newmarket. The city council has determined that the acquisition of these two properties meets the intent, or meets the policy criteria. The city has adopted a downtown master plan. This dates back to the city of Newmarket before the merger, and it's still recognized as the vision. At some point, we may be redoing this or updating this, but at this point, it's still considered in place. The subject properties are in the area identified in the city's master plan with a vision for redevelopment into commercial someday when the market demands. You can see the red square on the map here shows where the properties are located. The city's comprehensive plan guides the property to town center. This land use designation is, really intended to recognize the historic downtown area of the community and provide a sense of place based on the historic nature of the community and enhanced building elements. The property is zone B2. That's just kind of our downtown commercial district that allows for commercial, pedestrian-oriented commercial development, allows mixed use, and in some areas, high-density residential. These properties are a legal, non-conforming use, so they were considered legal at the time that they were constructed. They can remain in use as long as The owner determines they want to use them for rental properties, but at the point the market demands, they could be developed into commercial. So the city's interest in acquiring these homes is to preserve the potential for redevelopment in the downtown. If the properties were listed on the MLS, they would very likely be purchased very quickly by by investors who would continue to rent them out indefinitely. With the city owning them, they can just control the future of the properties better. It would be the city's intent to continue to rent them out, hopefully to the current tenants, as long as they want to stay, until there was a demand for redevelopment. So the Planning Commission is being asked to review the acquisition and determine if you believe the proposed acquisition is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan, which guides the properties to mixed use, or town center, sorry.
Can you do a Google imagery or,
The street view?
yeah, or not the street view, but a Google Maps? Just because I'm wondering how much of it is theirs and what's the rest of it, you know, or who owns the rest of it?
Oh, sure. Well,
I believe the parking area is mostly 441 Main Street, but I'm not sure if there's a partial split.
So that's the bar?
You have the old
It's-
hotel.
yeah,
Oh, old
I
hotel.
think it will show it on, oh, you're right. Yeah, it'll show it on the counties.
I have it pulled up actually, but can I share my screen? I don't know.
I think you can.
Okay.
The GIS?
Sure. So,
You just have to
Zoom.
request to.
Okay. Oh, okay, so up and then share. Right there. It's these two buildings, right?
Yeah, there's the strip of land, can you turn on the arrow photo?
What is that?
If you go under the layers on the very far left,
Layers?
yep, and then scroll down to 2024 aerial imagery.
There we go.
And then if you can zoom in a little bit, I don't know if you can zoom in anymore, but,
Far as I can
so
go.
the strip, that strip of land that's highlighted right now goes with the acquisition.
Oh,
So kind of right down the middle of that gravel parking area, I would say.
and, okay, so,
So that's owned by John Mahoney Jr.
gotcha.
Yeah, so the 431, and then that little strip, there's a couple of little detached accessory structures in the back. Kind of in the trees there, it's hard to see them.
Who owns that behind there?
That is city platted alley,
And then behind that?
Winkler.
So if we're inheriting renters, who's going to be the landlord? Who's going to be the accidental contact here at City Hall? Or who's going to take that on?
It will likely be me. Yeah, the city, we have the option to have the Scott County CDA manage the properties for us. And perhaps if the renters today leave, we may do that. The renters today are, it's also, the city also has an interest in enabling naturally occurring affordable housing. So these rental rates today are considered affordable, and they would remain affordable in some component. We wouldn't, council direction at this point is not to raise them necessarily to market rate, but to keep the current tenants in. But we have had discussions with the Scott County CDA, and that's an option that they could manage them for us.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like from a maintenance and all that stuff. It's a lot of work, and 2 rentals may not seem a lot now, but I'm looking at the ages of them. I'm like, okay, well, what's the HVAC looking like? What is the other, And then I would support having the CDA take on the management of the properties because they do have experience in this area and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, you probably know more than anybody, but, yeah, well,
Are they both single family or are they, one was a split or
they're both single-family. And there is a unique lease on the properties currently where any maintenance that needs to be done, even including replacement of appliances, is the tenant's responsibility. That's the lease that's currently in place, so if they want to replace their flooring, they can replace their flooring. You know, we can negotiate a new lease as well, but I understand they're very long-term renters. They've been there for many, many years.
Like, I was confused, I was like, I've seen them there for years.
Yeah, some of the sheds, if you do a street view, they don't look in great repair back there. I didn't know whose they were and what they were. I know the Mahoney's have a garage or shed, and then there's a couple
Correct.
sheds adjacent.
Yeah,
That's part of the property that goes
yes,
with it. So,
that's
okay.
correct.
So would some of those go away, or it depends on what
I
their
think they'd
needs are, I guess.
stay for now, yeah.
So I just didn't know about maintenance, like she was addressing here, that if they look like they need maintenance in the future, whose responsibility, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all written in the lease.
Yeah, we have copies of the lease agreements. They're month to month at this point. So we could change them if, we'd probably have to renegotiate them.
I would rather see the other two houses.
Yeah, so one of the things is when the city has the opportunity, the property owner they came to the city before they chose to put them on the market, and I think the owners had been long-term invested in the community, and they understood the situation, that's why they came to the city first. Gave us the opportunity to buy them. If we wanted to buy the other properties, we tried to buy one of the houses. We were just simply outbid. It was on the market. We didn't get the highest bid, and that is now a rental, and would probably be a long-term rental. And the other one, if it came on the market, we would probably bid on it. But right now, we haven't made any contact with the property owner to attempt to.
But that one's
buy
been
it.
vacant for years, so that would
It's
be
been
a
vacant for
commercial
years,
property
yeah,
anyway.
as long as I've been here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been vacant.
so it could never be a house again, it's got to
It
be
could not.
commercial, yeah.
It's absolutely could not be a house again.
That's what happened with Henry's old house.
That's exactly what happened, yeah.
But these, you don't have to, you can rent.
Because these have been in continuous
Yeah,
use.
okay. I see. Now I understand the concept.
Yeah. So we don't want to go, I mean, at this point, we don't want to acquire them through condemnation or anything like that. It becomes much more expensive to do it that way. And you can't condemn property to sell it to somebody else for redevelopment. There was a Supreme Court case about that after the Best Buy was built in Bloomington. You can't take somebody's house to give the property to a corporation or to redevelop it. That's not legal.
I see. What do you need from us?
We're gonna stop share. I just need a I just need your,
So do you want a motion that it's consistent? Okay, well, I'll make a motion that it is consistent with the comp plan with the caveat of, I don't know if we want to become landlords.
Anyone want a second? I'll second, it is consistent with the comp plan.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, review of vacant land property acquisition for consistency with comprehensive plan.
Oh,
Yes.
shoot.
Letter C.
Yeah, my, I've been having so many computer problems. And, oh my gosh, no, I got it, it's here. It's just, every now and then my PowerPoint is just closing. I had it open, but. Oh, crap. No. Address files. 429. Bottom one. If you can share that. And start the presentation maybe in presenter mode. You know what? This is the wrong one, I'm sorry.
It's the same one you just went over.
No, it's on the address file. Go to planning.
Technology, you gotta love it.
Properties. Regis property there.
Rich, you remember when you just had to deal with the PowerPoint or the pointer on the wall over here?
Yeah. Yeah. I was telling these guys the last council meeting, I used to be the IT guy.
I remember that day. Is this thing plugged in?
We got our work done anyway.
I know. And then the days when we had the, the plastic things on the, whatever you called those.
Overheads.
Yeah.
Overhead projector, yeah.
Okay, so similarly, adjacent to City Hall to the west, there is property that is owned by Joe Fregis, and he is interested in selling the property and has approached the city first. So, go ahead. The property is vacant. There's two separate parcels that are outlined in red on this map, a bit hard to see. Again, here Minnesota statute requires that you review for consistency with the comp plan. Just a little more background on this property. On this map, I highlighted in yellow the areas that the city already owns. So these properties are kind of adjacent to the city campus, and so there could be dual purpose for the acquisition. Go ahead. We do know a little more about this property. Recently, Mr. Winkler, who owns property to the north, did a wetland delineation, and it covered the wetlands on these two properties. So we know that part of the property is wet. We think approximately 4/10 of an acre is encumbered by wetlands. And go ahead, next slide. There are also some easements, or I'm sorry, some city utilities that run along the southern property line. And so this part of the property is also encumbered by utility easements. Go ahead. And there is also, this is kind of hard to decipher, but it's taken, it's a screenshot taken from a construction plan. And there's many references to a potential roadway or driveway easement that runs through these properties. So,
That's what I would like to see in the future.
yeah. This roadway alignment that we're kind of talking about, sometimes it's referred to on some plans as St. Thomas Avenue. Sometimes we call it Riley Road. So we can use those interchangeably, but go ahead. Again, the city has a policy regarding acquisition. Go ahead. And the city council has determined that acquisition of these properties meet the property acquisition policy. You Most of you have probably seen also this old municipal campus plan. I think after the merger of the cities, they tried to decide where the municipal campus could be located, and they did choose this area around City Hall. So really the primary purpose of the acquisition is for a potential roadway alignment through the property. But if the roadway, if it's determined later that the roadway is not needed through this property, it could be added to the city campus, used for park, used for trail, something along those lines. Stormwater. This is the downtown master plan, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner of the drawing, the two red boxes that are the approximate location. So at one point, whoever developed the master plan, Rich was maybe here. Around, they had sketched in a multifamily housing building. We suspect that there really wouldn't be enough room to put that in between the roadway and a wetland that is located to the west, but if there is, that would certainly be great. Go ahead. Again, the comprehensive plan guides it to town center, allows commercial, mixed use, and high-density residential in this location. Here is the main point, is the city's comprehensive transportation plan does show a minor collector street, Riley Road, extending south. Now, we've been doing a lot of analysis recently over the last 6 months on if this alignment is needed and if the property to the east of City Hall, going between here and Natchez Avenue, County Road 91, if that were to develop in the near future, and we could make a connection down to 2 or out to 91, maybe this wouldn't be needed, but we don't know. And in our plan today, it does show roadway alignment here. The city engineer was asked at one point to sketch up whether this road could be constructed, and this is a sketch that he provided to staff, which shows kind of a parkway with green space and, in the middle, a median per se.
There are lots on the west, right? Winklers?
Could be,
Yeah.
north of these lots.
Yeah. And Winkler.
A lot of room there.
Yeah.
I know they were kind of built at one time, but,
They did some grading,
yeah.
but they never had a plat.
Yeah, right. And the rules have changed. That was like 20 years ago or at
Over
this
20
point.
years.
So rules have changed, and, setbacks from the wetland and stuff has changed. We hope that he can get a couple lots in there. But that would be up to Bart to try to pursue that. This is just the city zoning map. It's the property zone B2. So today the permitted uses are, commercial type uses, office, retail, restaurants. So again, you're being asked to review the proposed acquisition for the purpose of preserving a potential future road right-of-way, local road right-of-way, and report your findings as to the compliance of the proposed acquisition with the city's comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Well, I've waited over 20-some years for a road to go through there, so I know I'll have to probably wait another 20-some more, so.
It meets the comprehensive plan. So really, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
Do you want a
Fine with it.
motion or?
I think so.
Motion, I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Then on to miscellaneous community development updates.
We have a pre-construction meeting scheduled tomorrow for Parkway Meadows. So the final plat was approved for the first phase, and they intend to start construction within in about 2 weeks. I think preliminary date that was given was approximately May 15th. So James Parkway will be extended with the first phase all the way to the easterly property boundary. And then the outlot that would be conveyed to the city as part of that city campus plan would be conveyed with this phase as well. As far as the development concept plan that you reviewed out by the elementary school for Tamarack, we believe that we will be getting the application for preliminary plat and zoning approval by Friday. That's the deadline for the next planning commission meeting. So we have asked that developer to hold a neighborhood meeting with some of the neighbors before they get to the public hearing here. So hopefully they'll be able to answer some of the questions of the neighbors before getting here. But if anybody's not going to be at the next meeting, that would be important to know because we have several kind of bigger items on that agenda. I think Jake is working on Dakota Acres.
Yeah, so same thing as Renee. Friday's the deadline for the preliminary and final plat for Dakota Acres second edition. They want to run those concurrently. And then also for Parkway, sorry, I'm getting confused now.
Oh, Boulder Point Recreation
Boulder
Center.
Point
or the pool.
8th edition preliminary and final plat. I believe they're also running concurrently. That's just 2 lots. Yeah, where the former swimming pool is.
Right next to the golf course clubhouse. The developer has owned that lot with that swimming pool all of these years, and he has a plan to basically divide it in 2. I think the pool would stay on one of the lots, divide it in 2, and build 2 single-family homes there. So there looks like we'll see a public hearing for 3 potential developments.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a packed house.
Yeah.
I'm really sad to see the pool go. I was sad a few years ago when they closed it. And it was our only, local area to go swimming. Otherwise, we're going to New Prague or Lakeville. So.
Now you just need to make friends with whoever moves in there, and then they'll
But
have the
it's
pool all ready for you.
But
Yeah. I was hoping that
concerned, though,
the,
as to the shape of the pool, though, because it wasn't taken care of for many years. So
well, the last several years, I was hoping that the association and the Glenboro Association would purchase it and maintain it, but they apparently weren't
yeah,
willing to contribute to its maintenance, so. Yeah, it was very unfortunate.
There's lots of meetings about the pool, I remember, so.
right.
Right before my time.
No, I mean, towards the end here, when the pool went to public use and, yeah.
Yep.
City wouldn't want to take that on as a public pool, public park, public rec. Okay, just an idea.
Big liability.
So,
We want that and a hockey rink.
Renee, didn't this house just sell too?
What?
Didn't this house just sell too right here?
It
Yeah.
did. Yeah, and when that house came on the market, so if something like in the near vicinity comes on the market or, staff, yeah, well, we brought that to the city council at the time, which was the last city council, and they did not want to pursue acquisition. I thought they should have, but that was they did not, so.
So is that a rental then, or?
It's an owner-occupied home, yeah. Yeah, so when something hits the market at a $200,000 price point, it's going to sell very quickly, so.
So where are we getting all these funds from?
The acquisition of the property adjacent to City Hall, our intent is we basically have just that much cash on hand to purchase that. And the other acquisition, the Scott County CDA has a program where I'm basically going to apply to this program for them to loan us the money. And if it's successful, that we would borrow the money from the Scott County CDA, they would require that we keep it as affordable. Otherwise, we would have to bond for that purchase, and just with the cost of the bonding, we would prefer not to do that.
I also want to mention too, it's great that we're involving the CDA because when push comes to shove and we do end up redeveloping, we will be required to relocate the families. And
Yeah.
that's the right thing to do. And they also
will.
have experience doing that.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, thank goodness we met with them because they reminded us of that, and we were like, well, that doesn't make, if they stayed in the house for 5 years, why would we have to relocate them? But we would, whenever they choose to move, we would have to relocate them, so. So we'll work with some, an outside agency to handle that because we're not experts in that.
That's just for if you would redevelop it, you're saying, or,
When they choose to move, we will have to pay for their relocation costs. It's the law.
wow. Yeah, but I know, but I'm saying at the development time, but not, like if they decide, oh, I'm gonna move now, that you're gonna help me move too? Oh, wow, that's
Because
different.
afterwards, they're gonna hang on to it to develop it.
Right. So that was my question. Are we going to be landlords until that happens? Because there's a cost to that too. So I didn't know where in the process the renters were. So
Me and Brandon will move.
That's recorded. You know that, right?
that's public record.
We all heard it. All right, anything else?
I don't think so. Do you guys have anything to report on? Anything you're working on?
So do you have a plat of what's going on?
To the north?
Yeah.
If I can get it open.
I don't know what it looks like compared to, I know that Nick now owns this property over here,
Yep, that's correct.
and the city went through and demolished the foundations and Henry's old house now, so,
Yeah. And that was for the same purpose, for redevelopment?
yeah. Because have they talked any further about extending or,
We haven't seen anything for
no?
the last time we met with them.
Okay.
Several months ago.
I know Barsness's and what's his name? No, the developer that used to meet with us for years. That was representing Warren and Wayne.
Oh,
His name again?
oh.
I dealt with him for many years. I can't
He
remember his
he
name.
was the planner.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was out of it
once,
Nick bought the property, I don't think they
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I haven't seen him. He was helping someone over here.
At one time, yeah.
I can't,
I think it was
oh, I'm drawing a blank.
Mike Giles he helped because Mike just passed away, I guess.
Like, his name will come to me. And
Yeah, right, same.
look at some of those old surveys and then that's his signature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a helper,
Yeah.
associate.
If you look up at the screen, this is the first phase of the plat. So, here's where Riley Road ends, so it'll be, James Parkway will be extended all the way to the east. And then Riley Road will be brought to the southern property line. So there will be a little gap yet here between where Riley Road is gonna end after this construction season and where if the city is successful in purchasing the Fregis land, there's still a little gap in there.
Because that's Nick's land.
Well, right
The
here
little
is Nick
strip.
and Brian, and then it would probably have to curve through Bart's piece.
Yeah, but there's a little strip right there, right? Owned by this
Yeah.
property.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, I think that's goofy when that was designed. Purposely to be a headache, so.
Yeah. Does this answer your question, or is there something else you
think
want to
so.
see?
No, I thought at one time your last illustration of it showed campus going all the way to the road, but there'll be a back lot of houses. Okay.
All right.
Also, before the next time we meet, we'll probably have citywide sweep wrapped up, at least the first round. So that's exciting. We got that posted on Facebook. I'm sure you're going to be hearing about it in the coming weeks.
They've done hydrant flushing already?
Yeah, that's
I
done
think so.
for code enforcement.
Oh,
Be mindful of no
I
mow
think you
may.
meant sweeping the streets.
No,
No mow may.
code enforcement.
It's pretty early on where the grass isn't that long yet, so I don't think it's going to be.
Long, but I don't mow it. I've got to go to seed. It's free
I did
back.
last year too. I tried.
Yeah, so,
No mome.
yeah. We do it every year.
Yeah,
It works.
yeah.
We
It
just
does
mow
make
our
it
lawn.
thicker. Yeah.
Does the township have any updates?
All quiet on the township front. Just
Okay.
business as usual, getting ready for spring road repair and things like that. But
Okay.
Is that why I have a pool?
Nothing major. Why you have a pool?
Does the YMCA have a pool?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah,
There you go.
they do a pool.
Interesting.
And
And it's on a lake, isn't it? Or a ship, a pond? Isn't it?
no, I think it's a pool.
It's a pool.
I haven't been out there, but if I remember in the plans they had, it was a pool. And it's, yeah, in fact, I know there is. It's open to the public after hours to the surrounding community.
I think Sundays
And
too.
it's either free or at a very reduced cost. I forget.
Okay.
$5 there. Yeah.
That's just up off of Dakota to the right and, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We submitted a grant application to MnDOT to get some more engineering done on the interchange, trying to advance that a little more, so. We'll see.
Down with the bridge. Let's do what Burnsville did.
What do you mean?
Take
Oh,
out bridge-
take it
out
down?
Bridges like crazy.
Take it down? Yeah.
All right. If nobody else has anything, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:53 PM.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor? All right, meeting adjourned, 7:53 PM. Thank you.